It's recording.
Yeah. It tells us, it sends us like a notification and asks us if we want to stay because it's recording.
It's so weird. Okay. Didn't used to do that. So, okay. So what I want to talk about today is hopefully I can get through this pretty quickly is, what I've noticed mostly is, on the assignments lately, is some pseudocode. The pseudocode is not being completed or it's not very thorough.
Okay.
And so I want to try to go over pseudocode. I want to go and look at rubrics on the assignments, so that we can kind of see like, where I'm really seeing a lot of the mistakes, because I grade from the rubrics themselves. I look at the assignment and I see, okay, are all the steps completed, and are the pieces of the rubric that we're really looking at, are they there? And so I just want to kind of touch base on those, to make sure that everyone's kind of on the same page, because I feel like there's a lot of those mistakes being made and I keep making the same comments to people, and I'm not seeing any changes. I don't know if people are not reading my comments, or if it's not understood. So I'm going to try to have this class or this video for everyone to make sure that everything is clear. So
Okay.
it's not geared toward you, Addison. It's just like, this is for everybody. So you just happen to be
Okay.
the only one here. So, all right. So I'm going to share, I've got a little slide presentation here about pseudocode, and we'll talk about this for a minute, just so you guys can see it. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, there it goes. Now it's loading. Can you still see my power? You can see my slides?
Yep.
All right. So this is code. This is a type of code. So why would this not run in Python? Why would it not run? Why would we get errors?
Is it not completed?
Well, it's actually a form of pseudocode.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this is a form of pseudocode. And this is not Python syntax. So if you'll notice, see the highlighted pieces on the screen?
Yes.
Those are not pseudocode, but they are telling us that those are going to be assigned a value of something. So instead of having equal signs there, like you all are used to, that would be where that's arrows, like saying, okay, I'm going to put something, I'm going to assign the value to something. So this is an example of pseudocode. And I see so many students, like they'll put something on there and it'll say, I am going to, actually, let me exit this out. Let me stop sharing because I don't want to pull up the student's name, but I really do want to give an example of something that was put on an assignment, because it's not the way that pseudocode is written. Let's see. Okay, so this is like one, like there's 3 lines of pseudocode, and one of the lines of pseudocode says and no offense to this student, I'm just saying that this is not how we write pseudocode. Okay. So please do not take it this way when the student recognizes their pseudocode. But it says one part has to have coded message that has numbers, that has these numbers, and then write what it really says to show what I wrote. That's not pseudocode. Okay, that's not pseudocode. That doesn't tell me anything. Okay, because yeah, we know you're going to decode a message because that's what the instructions are telling you to do. Okay, because this was the last assignment that I had you all do, for the ASCII numbers and stuff, for the ASCII code. But the idea is, how are you going to do it? What's the plan? What's the idea? And so when we, what want to see if I can split screen these because I really would like to show this on both sides of my screen. I need more monitors. Let's see. Let me pull up. Everything's going really, really slow as I'm trying to pull everything up. Here we go. Okay. Nope, not over there. So I have my, there's my slides. I'm gonna try to split screen these so we can see them. It's not, you're probably not gonna be able to see my slides very well on your small screen over there. But we're gonna try this and see if we can make it work. I don't know if it's going to or not. I don't know if it's gonna scroll back and forth or not. Okay, we'll do the best we can. Okay. So share my screen again. All right, this is the rubric for the assignment. For the ASCII code, right? And so if you'll notice, when it says program content, this line right here, it says Python code clearly reflects the pseudocode development for planning. All right. And then the other part is like, here we've got meaningful variable names. And you know, things like that. All of that stuff should be in your pseudocode. And so if we go back over here and we look at this, can you tell what are the variables in this? Can you tell the variables in this pseudocode?
It's going to be password.
Is that a variable?
Looks like one.
Or is that what the variable is holding?
That's what the variable is holding.
Okay, so what's the variable?
Stored pass.
There you go. Okay, and then what's another variable?
Pass
Okay,
mismatch.
right? So on this type of, if we write pseudocode like this, we can see the variables on there. Okay, we know the variables are there. All right, so that's a way that we can write pseudocode. This is one way to write pseudocode. It's not the only way, but I'm not getting what I'm looking for from the pseudocode that I'm trying to get. So from students in regards to what I'm seeing, and so this could be another way to write pseudocode to try to get your planning out there, because it's important that I'm able to see your planning and development for your projects that we work on. Okay. So, okay, again, just informal steps for an algorithm. You can also do flowcharts. Okay, so like these would be like if statements and stuff. So like if this happens, then this happens. Okay, so it could be something like if some people who are more visual and need it to be more like a picture, you can put an if statement here, then the condition, and then this would be the end spot. This would be the stop. This would be the else, or this would be the, you know, next thing that would happen. Okay, so these are flowcharts you can create if you choose to do it that way. It's just however you choose to do that. Okay, but it's important that you show these if statements and these outputs and things like that. Several times I am not seeing the output of what you guys are doing. I am not seeing the inputs of what you all are doing. So it's important that I'm able to tell the difference between each section of your code and how you're working it and things like that. Some people don't even do pseudocode at all. And so I have to count that whole section off in your grading, and that really brings the grades down. So, okay. So with that, here is the pseudocode that we just looked at. So what do you think this pseudocode would be if we actually wrote it out in regular code? Like if we were to write it out in regular code, what do you think it would be? Whoops. And I'm going to, so if you say it, Addison, I will type it.
Okay. We're gonna have to ask for an input.
We do have to ask for input?
Like you're gonna have to ask the user to use, like ask the user what their password is.
Okay, but do we have to do that right now? I mean, look at the way that the pseudocode is set up. So the pseudocode is set up in the order it should be.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So you need to assign variables.
Okay, so what's the first variable that I should type in?
Stored underscore pass, which is going to equal password.
Assigned to the value.
Yes.
Okay.
And then
Oops, it capitalized it for me.
trying to see what that says. And then password is going to equal whatever you put in. So it would be the 2 quotation marks.
Okay.
And then you're going to assign the incorrect password as pass underscore mismatch. I think that's what that says.
Okay, so how am I doing that?
Oh, no. Okay. I can't see that very well.
Let me see if I can bigger. I don't know if I can or not. Oh, nope, that didn't do anything. Is that helping at all?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay. So line number 3, what am I putting in line number 3?
Pass underscore mismatch. It's going to have is equal to
Assign the value. Store pass, okay.
And then an exclamation mark.
Right, so that symbol right there, what does this symbol mean?
Does not equal.
Right, exactly.
To password.
Okay. Okay, so now what is this telling us that we are doing? What are we creating now? What is this? What is this called right here? This whole thing. What is this called?
Is that your input statement?
Well, there will be an input statement, but what's that whole thing called? Starts with an L.
A loop.
There you go. So we're gonna have to create our while loop. All right. So what's the first thing that we're putting in here?
While pass underscore mismatch.
Okay.
And then you need to create a input statement for the user's password, which is going to be open parentheses.
Well, it's asking us first. So what is, when it's telling us it's going to output something.
Mhm.
So
Oh, you need to create a print statement, don't
there
you?
you go. There you go. So we create a print statement. So that's how you tell, and when you create pseudocode and it tells you what your outputs are, you've got to create those print statements. You've got to say, okay, this output is here. This is my output. Okay. Okay.
And
So
then
got
you
that.
would create your user input statement.
And then I have my, okay, so do I put password first or what do I do here?
Yes, because then it's going to tell the computer what you're asking it to do.
Right. So the password is going to be my variable for my input statement, right? It's going to hold whatever
Yeah.
my input statement is. Okay. All right. Then what?
Then you create your actual input statement, don't you? So you would
No,
do,
the password is your input statement. Like password is assigned input. That is where you put your input at. So
okay,
what it's going to do is going to create a blank line for you, and then you're going to type, and someone would type it in.
okay.
So
Then you're going to do pass mismatch. The assigned variable stored password is not equal to password. Or stored password, yeah.
well, you were there. Okay. Is not equal to password. Okay.
And then you're going to end your loop.
Okay. So my loop is done. Okay. But I don't have to actually put end loop or end while or anything on there, do I? In my code, right?
No, I don't think so.
Right. You don't. You don't. But in pseudocode, that's how we know that our loop is done because we're telling like that's where I'm stopping my stuff. So
Okay.
that's a great way to notify yourself. Okay, I'm done with my loop there. So I don't need my loop anymore. Okay, so now we've got another output statement. So how are we going to write that in there?
It's another print statement
Print. Okay.
that says access granted.
Ah, there we go. Okay. And that is the correct way. That is how we read this pseudocode. Okay. Again, this is also a way that you can write your pseudocode. And so it's important that you all get comfortable with this because it is a huge part of the grade for these assignments. Like I said, if we look over here at the rubrics, you've got meaningful variable names, and those variable names start in the pseudocode. Okay, you start creating those variable names in pseudocode. The Python code, so the final code, clearly reflects your pseudocode and development for planning. So if you have no pseudocode, I can't really tell if your code does this. So I'm probably actually going to have to grade you down here because I can't tell if it's, if you've got all the stuff there or not. So, keep those things. Those are the main things and the big things that I'm seeing is just pseudocode. And I think if you all really write out your pseudocode and really look at the directions on your assignments, because that's another thing too. If we look at the assignments, everything is listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. if you mark them off, I would encourage you guys to mark them off. If you can't, if you don't get them on, I usually put them on Google Classroom. If I don't, or if I did not, you are welcome to email me and say, hey, Ms. Cox, you need to put this on Google Classroom so I have access to it. You are welcome to mark these off and say, hey, I did this, I did this, I did this. And if you think that you did it, and I say that you didn't do it, then you need to go back and figure out where you didn't do it, or you need to come to me and say, I did this and here it is. Because I am willing to work with you or explain to you how it's not done or where it's not done and things like that. So make sure you are going through each of these steps and verifying that you have each of these steps completed. I am seeing a lot of the assignments that are being completed, and all of the things that are in these instructions are not included. So that's another thing that I'm seeing in a lot of the work that I've seen over the last couple of weeks. So I just want to make sure that everyone is getting all their stuff. Make sure that you have this information here. Make sure you're looking at the rubrics. Make sure you're doing all the stuff that you need. But anything. So Addison, do you have any questions about pseudocode or anything, or the assignments or anything, or the rubric for that matter?
No.
Okay. All righty. Well, that's all I wanted to cover for today. I just wanted to make sure that everyone, that the class got to touch base on that, and to make sure that to show another option for pseudocode. If you didn't want to type it all out like that, you could do what was I just showed on the screen, so that it would be a little bit easier to write out. But other than that, I will let you go, and I will see you next week. If you need anything at all, just email me and I'll be happy to help.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see you later.